Have you ever wondered what separates someone who just dreams big from someone who actually does big things? Well, a huge part of it isn't just talent or luck, it's confidence. Today, we're going deep on its opposite, self-doubt. We're going to break down exactly where it comes from and, more importantly, give you a powerful, science-backed tool to turn that doubt into some serious, unshakable confidence. First things first, if you've ever felt that nagging voice of self-doubt, you are in really good company. Get this, an incredible 85% of people all over the world struggle with it. It's that feeling that stops you from speaking up in a meeting or going for that promotion or just chasing something you really want. It is a totally universal human thing. So what is it really? Well, think of it like this. Self-doubt is basically the space between your ambition and your action. It's that internal voice that whispers, or sometimes shouts, that you can't do it, you shouldn't even try, or you're just not ready. That internal barrier is exactly what we're going to learn how to dismantle today. So, here's our game plan. We'll start by digging into the roots of doubt. Then, we'll pinpoint those sneaky, everyday habits that absolutely kill our confidence. After that, we're moving on to a powerful solution from psychology called CBT, and I'll give you a super practical tool, the triple column technique, to put it all into action and start building that lasting confidence. All right, so where does this feeling even begin? You know, to really solve a problem, you first have to understand its origin story. So let's dive into the two main sources of our self-doubt. What's so fascinating is that self-doubt isn't just some modern problem. It has these two really deep roots. First, believe it or not, it's an evolutionary survival tool. That little voice in your head saying, hey, be careful, is what kept our ancestors from, trying to pet a saber-toothed tiger. It was a safety feature. But that natural instinct can get totally supercharged by our childhood. If you grew up with a lot of criticism or were always being compared to a sibling, that can turn that helpful whisper of caution into a deafening roar of self-doubt. And this isn't just psychological, it's biological. Inside your brain, there's this little region called the anterior cingulate cortex, or ACC. Just think of it as your brain's personal error detector. Its job is to scan for mistakes and send out a warning signal. Now, for people with high self-doubt, this ACC is often working overtime. It's like the alarm system is way too sensitive, firing off warnings even when there's no real danger. And those childhood experiences can actually train this part of the brain to be on high alert all the time. Okay, so we know where it comes from. Now let's talk about how we unknowingly keep it alive, how we feed it every single day. These are the unconscious habits that are basically fuel for the fire of self-doubt. Do any of these sound a little familiar? Constantly scrolling through social media and comparing your life to everyone else's highlight reel. Never sharing what you really think just to avoid conflict. Or how about needing someone else's okay for even tiny decisions? Oh, and this is a big one. Replaying past mistakes in your head on a loop. Or maybe it's that roller coaster of feeling awesome one day and totally worthless the next. And, of course, the classic, I'll do it later for all your biggest dreams. Each one of these just reinforces that voice that says you're not good enough. All right, enough about the problem. We've defined it, we know its roots, we see how we feed it. It's time to pivot to the solution, and it's a really powerful one, backed by tons of science. Cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT for short. So what exactly is CBT? Well, at its core, it's a way to understand a really simple but profound idea. Our feelings don't just happen to us. They're almost always a direct result of our thoughts. And then our actions are a direct result of our feelings. CBT is all about learning how to step into that cycle and change it. And this slide illustrates that cycle perfectly. It all starts with a thought, right? Something like, if I speak up in this meeting, I'm going to say something stupid and everyone will judge me. That thought immediately creates a feeling, anxiety, fear, insecurity. And what do you do when you feel that way? You stay silent. And by staying silent, you've just proven your original thought right. It creates this vicious loop that makes it even harder to speak up next time. CBT gives us the tools to break that loop. So how do we actually break that loop? Let's get super practical. We're going to learn a specific, powerful CBT tool called the triple column technique. This is your hands-on method for, starting today, literally rewiring your brain. The technique is actually beautifully simple. It's all about these three columns. The very first step is just to become aware of your automatic negative thoughts, those instant, gut reaction, self-doubting thoughts that just pop into your head. The goal here isn't to judge them or fight them, it's just to catch them and write them down in that first column.
Now, that brings us to the second column, which is maybe the most important part of this whole thing. And to fill it out, we need to answer this question. What in the world is a cognitive distortion?
A cognitive distortion is basically a faulty or biased pattern of thinking that we convince ourselves is 100% true. The analogy for this is just perfect. It's like walking into a dark room. Your heart jumps because you see a ghost. But then you flip on the light and realize it was just your robe hanging on the back of the door. Your mind played a trick on you. It jumped to a scary conclusion based on incomplete info. Our negative thoughts do that exact same thing all the time.
To spot these mind tricks, you have to know what they look like. Here are some of the most common ones. Mental filtering. That's when you get 100 compliments, but you obsess over the one tiny criticism. Overgeneralization. You mess up once and decide, well, that's it. I'm a failure at everything forever. All or nothing thinking. If it wasn't a perfect success, then it was a total failure. There's no middle ground. Jumping to conclusions. You just assume you know what someone else is thinking, and it's always negative. And personalization. Making everything your faults, even when it's not. Learning to name these is like getting your mind's playbook. Let's walk through an example. Say you get rejected for a job. The automatic negative thought that pops up is, I didn't get the job. I'm just not capable. Okay, let's look at our list. What's the cognitive distortion there? That's a classic case of overgeneralization. Now for column 3, the rational response. This is where you push back with logic. Something like, okay, one rejection doesn't define my entire ability. The job market is tough. Instead of beating myself up, what can I learn from this for the next one? You see that shift? It moves you from feeling defeated to feeling empowered. Now, this isn't a one-and-done magic trick. Building real, lasting, unshakable confidence, it's like building muscle at the gym. It takes consistent practice. So let's talk about how to make this technique a daily habit.
Here's your daily confidence workout. Super simple. Step 1, identify. Just notice the thought when it shows up. Don't fight it, just notice it. Step 2, write. Take 5 minutes, get a notebook, and fill out the 3 columns. Get that thought out of your head and onto paper where you can see it clearly. And step 3, challenge. Actively engage with that rational response you wrote. Say it out loud, repeat it. Remind yourself of the more logical, balanced truth. That's it. Consistency is everything.
And please, don't get discouraged if it feels weird or clunky at first. You are literally rewiring neural pathways in your brain that have been there for years, maybe even decades. Every single time you challenge one of these negative thoughts, you are laying another brick in the foundation of solid, real self-confidence.
I just want to leave you with this final thought. Confidence is not some magical trait you either have or you don't. It is a skill. It is something you actively build, day by day, choice by choice. So the real question isn't whether you're a confident person right now, but rather, what's the first small step you're going to take to start building it today?